Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in a Weekdays with Bernie segment tonight, as we reported last night with Howard Kurtz. And we hope you saw that interview. Many in the national media erroneously reported that the Navy Yard killer used an AR-15 assault rifle. It was almost hysterical, the reporting was. Now, Mr. Kurtz thinks it was just a mistake, but Bernie Goldberg sees it a bit differently, and he joins us now from North Carolina. How do you see it?
Well, I'll get to the ideology of journalists and guns in a tad, but let me talk about the mistake part first. The only thing I'm sure of, Bill, is that if, God forbid, there's another mass shooting like the one in Washington this week, the mainstream media or the media, whatever you want to call it, will get it wrong again. And I say that because they always get it wrong in stories like that. They got it wrong in Connecticut, where they said the shooter was the guy's brother and the mother was a teacher at the school. That was all wrong. They got it wrong in Boston when they said the suspects were in custody, and they even had the wrong suspects. They got it wrong this week in Washington when they said that it was an AR-15, and that one cable network said, a reporter was out in the field and he said, we have confirmed that there were two shooters. He didn't confirm anything. And here's where the Bernie rule comes in, okay? Here's the Bernie rule. Unless you've seen it with your own two eyes in a breaking story, do not say we can confirm, because you can't. You're going to get it wrong too often. And by the way, the reason it's wrong as often as it is for the exact same reason each time, and that is so-called reliable law enforcement sources aren't reliable at all. They're unreliable. So here's the Bernie rule. Do not say that we confirm. Do not even say we've learned. Here's how you say it. We have been told. We have been told. Now, that may sound like a subtle distinction and not much of a difference.
I mean, sure, then you can lay it off on somebody who told you a fib or whatever. But this...
But on the ideology part?
Yeah, but let me frame the question, because some people might not have seen the Kurtz interview last night. Howard Kurtz has worked many, many years the Washington Post. He's deeply ingrained in the national liberal media. Not to say that he's that. I don't know him that well, but he's in that world. He just said, you know, it was a foul up. It was in a heat of battle. It was within an hour, less than an hour, of the initial erroneous reporting that the tsunami of, oh, here we go again, assault rifles, and the front page of the newspapers, all over the internet, on the liberal cable networks, all over the place. It couldn't have been an accident. They couldn't have all made the same mistake. It's just like sheep.
No. They did all make the same mistake because they all got it from either the same person or the same kind of people.
No, they wanted it to be that way, Bernie.
That's the point.
They wanted it to be that way.
I wanted to establish first how they made the mistake. I totally agree with you that there is a liberal narrative, a liberal storyline on certain kinds of stories. If it's about race, the storyline, the most interesting one, is a white person attacking a black victim. That's the storyline that they like the most. If it's about guns, the simplification of it is guns are bad. And if it happens to be the kind of guns they hate the most, AR-15, so-called assault weapons, then they're pretty much in the same category as Bashar Assad's chemical weapons, okay? So what happens is they get this information from the unreliable sources, and I want to make clear they're not happy that people are dead, but I'm going to use the word you used last night. They do celebrate. They do celebrate the fact that, oh, here's another AR-15.
Absolutely,
they
celebrate it. And you know what's another decent analogy? Whenever there is a terrorist attack, many in the liberal media root that it's not a Muslim doing it. They would much rather have some hillbilly, you know, living in the mountains of Idaho. That much better than some Muslim guy.
Exactly. And I think what Howard Kurtz did not, a road he did not want to go down, probably because, as you very perceptively said, and that doesn't happen often where you make a very perceptive comment, but you said that he lives in a liberal media world. That's a very perceptive comment. So the road that he didn't want to go down is that whether it's that Muslim story you just talked about, or the race story, or the gun story, there is a liberal take on it. And they want it to be a certain way. And when they get information, even if it's incorrect about an assault weapon, an AR-15, they jump on it.
They're going to
because
run with it.
fits their
It's
storyline.
journalistic wish fulfillment is what it is. Bernie Goldberg, everybody.